Hey everybody, Anthony from Anthony in the Wild here, and today we are reviewing the Esky or Esky car camera. I'm not sure which one it is. I believe it's Esky, not Esky. It's E-S-K-Y. The Esky car camera. I received this product for free or a heavily reduced price for my honest and unbiased opinion. And you guys know with me that's exactly what you're going to get, is my honest and unbiased opinion. If this video is helpful to you, please like it and share it. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. I will I will answer them. You can also follow me at Anthony Fierro. That's last name F-I-E-R-O. First name Anthony, and that's at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for a further product review on this product as well as many other great product reviews as well. But let's jump into it. Here it is. The Esky car camera comes with your power wire, your camera, 2 screws, and detailed instructions. Before I go into it, let's just address the elephant in the room. When I was looking at this, a lot of reviews, people saying it was great, a lot of people saying it was absolutely horrible, dead on arrival, so forth and so on. First thing I did when I got this was I have a battery jump box, and I hooked it all together, plugged it in, and hooked it up, the power wires up to the jump box. Camera came right on. Okay. I also have a monitor which I plugged it into to check to make sure it was working properly, and it does. So I know that mine works fine out of the box. So let's go into it a little bit further. As I said, this is your power wire. It's going to plug in. The black here plugs into the red here, just like that. This is going to go to for your video. It's going to go to your monitor, and then you're going to hook this into a power supply in your vehicle, which I'll go over later. The only thing here comes with 2 screws, and it's going to mount like this. Around the camera you have 8 LED lights, and these suckers are bright. Okay, so it's going to show up at night and pick up what you see. 2 screws to go in that you just screw into in the dash, or excuse me, in the license plate area. It is you can adjust it to where you get the perfect view, and that's pretty much it. And this little button here is the only control you have on it. And what this button does is it changes the view of the camera, whether you want the grids. If you're familiar with backup cameras, some have grids with like yellow, green, red, just a grid to show you how close you are to items that you're backing up, might be backing into. If you like that, great. If you don't, you click the button, it goes away. Those are the only controls you have with the camera, is whether you want the grid or whether you don't want the grid. Looking at the box here, I'll go over some of the things with you. I'm not going to give you a sales pitch on it. You can go online and check out the specs for yourself. But it's the 8 LEDs, which is good. One button control makes you think you have some control over it. If this is mounted outside of your car, and this is going to be run, this is going to be probably up underneath your car. So unless you want to get out and click it, that's the only control you're going to have over it. Day and night, wide viewing angle, which is true. What I don't like is where it says DIY, easy installation. Okay, and let's get into that. First of all, I'm going to read a couple specs to you here that it comes with. Current consumption, 150 milliamps. Power supply, DC, 9 through 24 volts. Okay, so you guys who know what I'm talking about, remember what I just said. Okay, the 9 through 24 volts doesn't bother me. I was running about a little less than 12 volts today on my battery pack when I hooked this up, and it worked just fine. Very, very good. Lights are bright. Like I said, I had it hooked to a monitor, crystal clear, everything. So the camera, I know, worked great. Do it yourself. That would lead your average soccer mom, not to get soccer moms or anything like that, but that anybody can just walk out there and hook this up themselves. And in theory, I guess that is correct. But you need to be careful. And I've read some reviews where people are like, well, the only drawback I had is, I didn't want to hook it up myself. What it suggests is that you hook into the power supply of your reverse light. And that way this camera will automatically come on when you shift into reverse. That makes perfect sense. Okay, you can do different things where if you wanted it on all the time, you could hook it up a different way. But for just a backup camera, you would want to hook the power into, and you would need to check and make sure you need to get a wiring diagram of your vehicle. But where the wire runs to, it turns the tail light the white when you go to back up. Some of them have separate ones, but it should be power running into that. or ground, but usually power. So that's where you want to hook your power into. Your ground, you should be able to ground, there should have a ground somewhere in there well that you could tie into, okay? If that's not the case, you could always solder an eyelet on here and put a ground, ground it to a bolt. That shouldn't be a problem. But what I'm getting at is you need to check your wiring diagrams and just don't go splicing wires and cutting this in, okay? This cable here is only so long, okay? That only gives you so much room of doing. Now I went out to my vehicle, I have an SUV, and I measured this wire. Is it going to be long enough, so forth and so on, and it is. And let me just give you guys a few ideas of what you can do. When you find this place, do not hook this up before you do a test, like a dry run, and make sure where you know you're going to hook this stuff at. So a couple ways of doing it is, one, you can hook, like I said, find out where you're going to bolt this in at or screw this in at. That's great. And then this most likely is going to be outside. So I've already decided the first thing I'm going to do is make sure this is on. I do like the grid part. I'm going to take electrical tape and I'm going to wrap around this whole piece right here, keep it nice, dry, and secure. The rest of it I'm going to run in conduit, which you can pick up at your auto parts store, and then wrap it in electrical tape just to try to keep it dry and safe from critters eating at it and so forth. This is going to have to come inside your vehicle because this is where your cord to go to your monitor is going to hook up. This should be enough wire here to tap into in the back of your car to the reverse lights and to the ground. You can do that by running it inside the car. You can also do that by running it on the underside of the car. If you can find out where the wire is run to, if by any chance you can get to it from underneath the car, that's great. But odds are there's a huge bunch of wires underneath any kind of new car, and it's going to be difficult unless you know what you're doing. And Anthony is a mechanic, so Anthony knows what he's doing, and that's where it comes back to DIY. Okay, it is DIY. You can do it yourself, but you better know what you're doing. Okay, you better measure your not your resistance, but your voltage going to the reverse. When you put it in reverse, measure your voltage. When you tie this in, you also need to make sure that it's not going to make your bulbs dim, and because you're also going to have it grounded. You want to make sure it's not going to take power away from something else excessively. It obviously is going to take power away from it, but to how much? And that's where you're going to get out there with your, Anthony at least is going to get there with his power probe and start measuring. So this is a do-it-your-job self for me, but this isn't a 5-minute job, and this isn't something that just any Joe Schmo should be doing unless you know what you're doing and which wires to tap into and have the power probe or voltmeter, something that you need to check these resistance, or not resist, but voltages with. You just need to be careful. So when it says DIY on the box, I just wanted to let everybody know it's not exactly just plug and play. Okay, that's I guess the point to this. That being aside, great camera. Like I said, it's wonderful. I've hooked it up like I said to the monitor. It's got a good wide angle. It's in real time. It's great. I love it. I'm going to hook it up. I'm going to use it. I believe it's going to be great. Also, you want to position this thing. It says waterproof. And let me read this to you here. Hang on a second. It's on the other side. It did speak to the waterproof part of this. I read somewhere, one of the reviews said, a little rain got it ruined it. But it says waterproof IP67. That's in the specifications. I have absolutely no idea what that means. But I can tell you this is electrical equipment. If water gets into it, guess what's going to happen? It's going to go bad. So at the same time, I'm going to go and I'm going to probably take electrical tape and I'm going to wrap around this box. I'm going to wrap around where the screws are. I'm going to wrap around where the cord goes in, and I'm going to do my best to try to waterproof it even better. Obviously, you're not going to go over where the lens is, because that's going to defeat the purpose, or where the lights are. But I'm going to put this in such a way, and as you see the bracket moves, I'm going to put this in such a way that it's as far back into where the license plate area is as possible, to give it as much coverage as it can possibly get. From looking at this, it is not going to obstruct your view if it sits back in there, but I'm going to do my best to keep it covered as best as I can. And that being said, you guys should do the same. I just wanted to let you know, mine came, it worked great. It's a great camera. Full price of what it cost is not, is a deal, and it works great. If it continues to work great, it'll be the deal of the year. I did receive it for free or a heavily discounted price, but even at full price, I mean, this is not a bad deal. My biggest thing was I want to make sure everybody knows, as far as the do-it-yourself, the DIY part, and is going to, make sure you know what you're doing. This isn't plug and play and you pop it into a, your PowerPoint receptacle or anything like this. You're going to have to wire this in, so know what you're doing. If you wire it wrong, you can just screw your car up and you're going to fry the camera out. So make sure you know what you're doing, and if you don't try it. Go to somebody who does. That's all I can say about that. But as far as the camera itself, looks pretty good, works pretty good. Can't wait to get it hooked up, try it out. And I'm saying I already made sure it worked and everything, but I can't wait to get it on the car and drive it for a month or so, really put it to the test. When I do, I'll come back and put an update and let you know, guys, how it's working. All right. So as of right now, I give it 5 stars. Good price, works great, and Anthony does approve it. So guys, this is Anthony from Anthony in the Wild. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. And we'll see you guys in the wild in my rear view.